We are live Lions fans. Well, our boys did it 20-6 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We now improved to 5-1. Let's talk about it. Well, son, they did it. Went to Tampa Bay against a fairly good team and they won 20-6. Uh I want you to give me your thoughts on the game, and then we're gonna see what there's some clips on the Twitter page that Coach Jam Campbell was giving with the press conference afterwards. So they're not very long, but I want to get your thoughts on the first, and then we're gonna see what Coach has to say.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, was this 4 in a row for the Lions or 3 in a something like that? I just know we won a lot of games.
I want to
Uh,
say that's four now. Yes, two.
yeah.
Yes, four in a row.
Yeah. So yeah, well, the one thing I gotta say, I gotta give some respect to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are good. Like the Lions are just better than them. Like, y'all, the
Right.
Buccaneers are probably gonna go to the playoffs, in my opinion. Their defense is locked down. Like they really got a good defense. But honestly, the Lions, it was just too much. When did Montgomery get hurt? The third quarter? Did he
In
get
the
hurt before
second,
the
I
half?
thought. In the second, maybe.
Yeah.
No,
So
it was before halftime.
yeah. So until Montgomery got hurt, the run game was looking. I mean, honestly, we kept the run game going, but
Right.
until Montgomery got hurt, the run game was looking decent. But no, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it was just another good game. It was just another good game, another dominating game. Jared Goff is slowly trying to change himself from a game manager to maybe a playmaker with those 353 yards. So, yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. I have to agree with you. All right. Well, cool. Well, before you and I talk about the offense and the defense and give our thoughts on it, let's switch to coach and let's see what he has to say in these clips.
Um, Listen, I can't say enough about our defensive performance today, and really, really for 5 games this year. To be honest with you, I mean, um, Aaron Glenn's doing a hell of a job with that staff, and our players have bought in. They've been bought in, but they're man. We're just playing as one unit right now, and we're doing what we need to do. We come up with a takeaway. Bugs got that big. We got a tip ball we talked about with this quarterback, and then Will Harris gets the turnover, and that leads to points. That kind of starts it off for us. So, listen, I can't say enough about our
Okay,
defensive.
that's one. I forget that these clips don't stop automatically. Okay, here's a clip two.
Punts that were big. And I thought Jack Fox stepped up, had
And
two.
he talked about Jack Fox there. That clip was actually only 4 seconds. Here's another one, 35 seconds.
Game, and there's more and more that are showing up. The fans that travel with us and that show up at the state. I feel like every game, there's more and more that are showing up. And I mean, we got into this game there at the end with up 2 scores, and they. Tampa's offense is out there on the field, and I feel like they're about to have to go into silent cadence at their own place, and that's saying something about the support you have from the fans. So, listen, it's a good feel, it's a good vibe. I can tell you, our players and coaches noticed it. We noticed it when we walked out today, start the game. It was like, look at all the blue, and you could hear them. The fans that travel with us.
Okay, so I think it was one more. Well, maybe it was a couple more, but yes, two. Well, I lost it. Two more.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, nope, that might have been it. That might have been it. Now we get into the players. I just kind of want to see playmakers make plays. Okay, this is a 42-second one. Let's check this
You
one
talk
out.
about a guy who plays for the guys around him and just does things right. He shows up in critical times when not everybody sees him. And he does stuff like that all the time. And then for Saint to use it, he felt him, and you saw him take that loop around and use that block, and then find a way to take it in the end zone. It was just huge. That's a couple players making plays for us, is what that was. And honestly, it was a great call by Ben. There was nothing too advanced about it other than the fact that he knew we were going to get pressured, and let's just get it into Saint's hands. We knew we had a 3rd and long. Let's get it in his hands, let him make a play. And that's what happened. Playmakers make plays. Outstanding.
Okay.
That's what he did.
Well, that was pretty good right there, son. I think we got quite a bit of coach. All right, now let's let you and I talk about the game. Let's start with the offense. The offense scored 20 points. I predicted they would score 27, But as you said, and I totally agree with, this Tampa Bay team is actually better than we thought that they would be. The defense was definitely a whole lot better, but we found the holes to get through. 2 touchdowns by Jared Goff, 2 field goals by Patterson, even though I thought he would kick at least 3, but hey, we'll take the 2. What was your thoughts today on the offense, son? Let's start with our quarterback, JG. And actually, while you're talking, I am going to switch to the stats of the game so we can kind of look at what they did.
Okay. Yeah, no, Jared Goff, he's been the number one rated quarterback on PFF for a few weeks now. He was 30 for 44. I know he had 353 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And he had that 45-yard throw to Jameson Williams. And PFF they graded him with 107.5 rating. So compared to, Baker Mayfield's 56.8 because he kept overthrowing people. But man, no, Jared. Why do they have him as the top? Oh wow, I didn't realize David Montgomery only had 4 yards. But yeah, no, I'm just really happy with Jared Goff. That the main thing that I've noticed with him is that he's not fast at all, but at least he's trying to roll out the pocket and stuff. I like that he likes to do things to try to keep the plays alive. I mean, I know he took 3 sacks today, but honestly, like we already said before, the Bucs do have a pretty good
Exactly.
defensive line. So no, it was just another pretty baller game from Goff. I would say he was can't really call him a game manager when he had 353 yards passing. So yeah, it was just a pretty good dominating performance. I don't know if I would call him. Some people are saying, man, this dude might be on the MVP. I don't know if he's MVP, but he's a darn good quarterback. I know that for
He
sure.
is. He is. And my thoughts on JG are exactly what you just said. I thought that he had another splendid game. He had to drop back 44 times because next we're going to talk about the running backs because of the lack of a running game. Son, now let's move on to the running backs. We know that David Montgomery went out. He only carried the ball 6 times for 14 yards. And after he went out, we only put up 26 yards rushing. That was between Craig Reynolds, Ozigbo, Khalif Raymond, and Jared Goff. Tell me, first of all, son, have you heard anything about David Montgomery and his injury, and what if it's something wrong with Montgomery? What's going to have to happen? Because 26 yards, it is not going to cut it in the run game.
Yeah, it is not. The last I heard is that he went out with a shoulder injury. So honestly, that doesn't sound good because it didn't seem like that he got hit so bad on that. Was that a long? Was that a screenplay that he got that big
It was.
one? Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know if he got tackled weird or what, but yeah, I think it was a shoulder injury though.
He came down on his shoulder. That's
And it was
that's what I think happened.
and it was bad enough where they obviously downgraded him to out for the rest of the game. So
I was thinking that as the first half was ticking down, that no matter what was wrong with him, that they probably were going to hold him out. But I'm gonna be honest. I think that's the reason why we didn't score 7 to 10 more points is because David Montgomery was not in the game. So if he's out, and let's say that this hamstring injury of Gibbs holds him out of next week, I mean, son, we have to find something to do. When I talk about this, I'm a big Reynolds guy, but Reynolds is what he is. Reynolds is a good player, but he's a third running back. He's a good depth running back, and we're not going to be able to win games if teams know going in that we can't run the ball.
yeah, I mean, well, the sad part is even if Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't injured, I don't think the Lions would utilize him as the premier back anyways. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Honestly, I doubt they. They're probably gonna have to evaluate what happens with Montgomery. But honestly, I don't think maybe they'll pick up someone from the practice squad or something like that. But I don't think they'll make any major moves at running back though,
Okay.
especially if Montgomery, like hopefully it's limited to like just a 2-week injury or something like that. But I guess if it was something major, then maybe they would.
Well, here would be a good thing if somehow Montgomery is limited to, let's say he's day to day and it's a 2 week injury. Here's the good thing: we have the Ravens next week. Oh, never mind. Just scratch what I was about to say, son. Completely. I was going to say we have our bye week after. I forgot. No, we have 2 more games than the bye week, so we're going to need Montgomery in there. Hopefully, his injury isn't well. So forget what I was about to say. Let's move on to the receiver, son. As you look on the board, you see Amon-Ra Brown was a workhorse, 12 for 124 and a touch. our guy Jamison Williams had a touchdown, and then you see that Goff spread the ball all over the field. Reynolds, Laporta, Craig Reynolds again, Craig Reynolds, Raymond Montgomery, Ozigbo, Wright, and Marvin Jones even came in and got a catch. He spread the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on the receivers today?
Honestly, man, I just got to give my boy Josh Reynolds some credit. 3 targets, 3 catches.
Right.
The crazy thing the commentators brought up about him, it was, well, I guess until this game, every single catch that Josh Reynolds has had has been a first down or a touchdown. And he had like, I don't know, before this, he had like 17 catches. I mean, 17 of his catches were basically for at least 10 yards, basically,
Wow.
or a touchdown. So that dude has been balling. Jamison Williams, we talked about him before. He's gonna be like, yeah, it's clear as day. Like that's gonna be the guy that will really open up our offense, whether he gets the ball or not. Because you're gonna have to have 2 safeties over top. You can't press that dude. He's just like Tyreek Hill. He's just like a
Right.
bigger Tyreek Hill. Teams are. I don't know if teams are pressing him anyways, but you're gonna have to learn that. Yeah, you're gonna have to have 2 safeties over top. And when teams have to have 2 safeties over top, then we'll be able to run the ball even more whenever Montgomery gets back in there.
Mm-hmm.
But and like we already said about Amon-Ra St. Brown off cam, you're comparing him to Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
I have to agree with that. That dude really has some sure hands. And what's getting crazy with Amon-Ra St. Brown is his yak yards now. I mean, on that touchdown
Yes.
he got, I thought he was going to go down. He said, "Nah, I'm going to break all the way to the outside and let's see what Craig Reynolds can set up for me." And Craig Reynolds laid the boom on.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
I
did.
forgot which corner he hit, but he laid down the boom. No.
That's one thing I like about Craig Reynolds. I like about Jamison Williams. Those boys are not afraid to get out there and block and let the playmakers make plays, as we heard Coach say a little bit ago. Now let's move on to our defense. First thing I want to do is I want to look at our defense, and then I want to see what we did to the first. Well, no, let's look at the Buccaneers first. Let's see what our defense did to them. Baker Mayfield, 19 of 37, 5.6 average, son. No touchdowns and a pick. Once again, look what we did to the run. 46 total yards that we gave up. That's like 85 Bear stuff. The way that we're shutting down the run. The receivers, I mean, Godwin, look like he did okay. I'm not going to necessarily say that they were cooking, but I mean, he made plays when he had to. And then, son, if you look at our defense right here, I have it on the screen. We were led once again by Anzalone. Jack Campbell came out of nowhere with 7 tackles. Tracy Walker was out there laying the wood. Cam Sutton was shutting down. And how many sacks did we have, son? Let me see. Okora, we had 1 sack. So Okora had a sack, but we still got good pressure on Mayfield. Son, what was your thoughts on our defense?
Yeah, really, I got to give credit to the defensive line. I challenged the defense. I mean, we did only get 1 sack on Baker Mayfield, but they still were giving good enough pressure for him to have some miscues. Once again, at this point, yeah, the Lions have the best run defense in the whole NFL. I mean, it's actually crazy how good they're locking up the run. But no, I can't give the corners. Well, at least Jerry Jacobs. I'm sorry. I can't give the corners much because, in my opinion, Chris Godwin was cooking. I mean, he got 6 catches on 7 receptions. And the thing with Mike Evans is I'm not trying to nitpick and stuff, but honestly, really, it was just a few bad plays that Baker Mayfield had why Mike Evans wasn't cooking, to be honest.
I'm going to agree.
Honestly, there was just a lot of miscues. I'm not saying the Bucs would have won the game, but honestly, it should have been like 20-17 or something, to be honest. They just had a ton of miscues that I think, I guess I've said this for a while, but I guess miscues is also, I guess miscues can mean that the defense is still good, though, because
exactly.
Not a catch is not a catch either way. So, right. But, like I always say, I do think a better team, I don't think they'll have those kind of miscues, though. But still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Son, I think you're right. I think that it is a combination of all of the things. I think that our defense got enough pressure on Baker Mayfield to make him feel uncomfortable. I think that we got our big linemen were able to get their hands up, like that play where Bugs got the tip and then the interception by was that Will Harris? Who was that got the interception for us? When we it'll come back to my mind. When we got the interception, But the thing is this also too, there has to be miscues. And I'm going to tell you something about our defense. We are going to have to work on defending the deep ball because that dude Trey Palmer, to be honest, I saw two plays where if Baker Mayfield would have put the ball where it should have been, he had Will Harris burned twice.
Mm.
Twice, and I did not see a safety over top.
Yeah.
So I'm not really understanding sometimes the placement of our safeties, where they are and why they're not exactly over top. Kind of like how Kirby Joseph played last year. When we played the Packers, Kirby Joseph always seemed to be over top. For some reason now our safeties, even though they're not playing bad, they seem to be out of place. So I think that that's something we have to work on is defending the deep ball. But overall, regardless of how you want to look at it, our defense gave up 6 points. We held Tampa Bay to 6 points. We shut down the run again, and hey, I think we did our thing. And as you and I talked about on the preview show, the special teams showed up. Riley, let's see, Riley went two for it was Will Harris right there, interception.
Okay.
Okay. And our special team showed up. Jack Fox averaged 45 yards a punt. I've always said that a good punter needs to average between 45 to 52 yards a punt because that right there is flipping the field. Patterson went 2 for 3 on field goals. That's another thing I guess we could address because the game could have been 23-6. We can't be having those
Yeah.
miscues on special teams. So did we miss anything? Son,
Why do dermatologists?
we talked about the offense. We talked about the defense. Was there anything that we missed out on in this game?
I mean, nah, I would say no, not really. I don't think so. I mean, I still want to see Jameson Williams get worked in more. But yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure that'll come in time. Um, yeah, yeah, no, I don't think I really got anything else.
Okay, and then let's finish out talking about the Ravens next week. We're on the road again next week in Baltimore against the Ravens. Let's give some quick thoughts. Of course, you and I will do our preview show next Saturday, but let's give some quick thoughts on what does the Lions. Let's start with the offense. Due to the fact that we don't know what's going on with Montgomery, what will the offense have to do next week? Because next week we're going up against another good defense. What do we have to do to break down that Ravens defense?
Well, let's say it's the worst case scenario and Montgomery is out and we have to use our third string backs or whatever. I expect Jared Goff will have to drop back around this many times again, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised. But to be real, man, all they got to do, I mean, like I was saying, really, I think even if it is Craig Reynolds back there, I think it just takes a few. I mean, because basically what the Lions did today was they were trying to run the ball enough effectively to get the safeties to come up and stuff. But I feel like they can do the opposite next week. I mean, if they pass the ball good enough, they can get the safeties to stay back, and they should still be able to develop a pretty decent run game. I mean, with Josh Reynolds, Jameson Williams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's hard for me. I don't think the Ravens will be able to stop that. So, yeah.
It's hard for me to think that too. I think that Ben Johnson is going to have to go into his bag, especially if we are hurting that running back to overcome that Ravens defense. Now, what does our defense have to do? We're going against Lamar Jackson. He's looking good. We know that he can make plays with his arm and with his legs. What will our defense have to do next week?
Is Odell Beckham still hurt?
I'm not sure. I thought they said he was still hurt.
Well, because the problem. Okay, well he played today, so of course yeah.
Oh, he played today. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, honestly, they can't let the Ravens. I mean, I guess it sounds so obvious, but they can't let the Ravens get hot because the problem is I saw Ravens highlights last week or a week or two ago. Lamar Jackson's balling, but those receivers are terrible. I mean, they're terrible actually.
I agree.
They just constantly are dropping balls and everything. Maybe Mark Andrews was dropping a ton of balls when I saw. I mean, they did beat the Titans 24-16 today. But, like I was saying last week about with Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, I was saying, if we shut down Mike Evans, they'll probably be all right because, they had to make someone else do the work. Right. But it's going to be the same thing. If they – I mean, which I don't think Lamar Jackson will be running all over like that because he wasn't even able to run on us. Was it 2 years ago that we played them?
2 years ago, yes.
He wasn't – when they made that crazy field goal, he wasn't able to run on us like that. I mean, I guess – Don't let it be a 3-point game, and don't let them within
Justin Tucker.
Yeah, don't let him be within 65 yards of the
Right, right.
field, I guess. No, but really, basically, I mean, yeah, I just think it comes down with shutting down. We don't even got to worry about the run game. You just can't let Lamar Jackson get too hot, and I think they'll be okay.
I think the biggest key is going to be keeping Lamar Jackson in the pocket. You
Yeah.
can't. What happens to happen is that our DNs have to set the edge, and you cannot allow the middle to open up. Because one thing I notice about running quarterbacks, they usually don't scramble outside. They usually run right up the middle. If you look
Yeah.
at Jalen Hurts, if you look at Justin Fields, you look at Lamar Jackson, I noticed that they run right through the middle where they could take advantage of the linebackers being back 5, 6, 7 yards. But we will see. We, of course, as we do every week, son, we will do our research on the Ravens, and we will decide, what will be the outcome on that. Other than that, Lions fans, that's it. Our boys did it, 20-6. We are now 5-1. This is officially our best start since the 1991 season when we went to the NFC Championship game. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can always hear us talk Lions football, and you can talk Lions football with us. As you see, as we have our ticker, follow us on Twitter/X and follow us on TikTok. Other than that, that's all we got. Peace.
Peace.